Well, good afternoon, everybody, and particularly those who are watching on the internet. Marilyn, nice to see you again, and Jackie up there. I hope you enjoyed the conference up at the Hunter last week, and there was a lot of useful stuff said. So I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we are meeting here today and pay my respects to elders past, present and those emerging. So welcome to this extraordinary meeting of Council on the 31st of October 2022, and I will now declare that meeting open. We don't have any speakers tonight or this afternoon, so whilst it is being broadcast, the meeting, anyone who is participating, and it's probably only the staff this afternoon, do remind them that their image is recorded and be mindful of any statements they might say. So we'll move on to item 1.1, which is disclosures of interest. I have no items to disclose. I don't believe any of the other members of the staff have. So we'll now resolve to adopt the resolution as shown on the screen. Item 1.2 is notice of intention to deal with matters in closed session. We have no matters that we're going to discuss in closed session, so I will now resolve to adopt this resolution that is displayed on the screen. Moving into the formal agenda, item 2.1, which is the monthly finance report. And I would just remind people that, and those listening, that the reason we've got the extraordinary meeting is that we committed ourselves to publishing and at a council meeting the monthly financial results. And we must actually report the investment report on a monthly basis as well. So that's why we're having an extraordinary meeting at this point in time, because if you recall, the standard meeting was a week or two ago and towards the middle of the month. There's also one other report that Mr. Loader has taken the opportunity to put up, and we'll cover that shortly. But in the meantime, item 2.1, the monthly finance report, I'm going to ask the Chief Executive to talk about how we're travelling.
The monthly financials for September, and I'll just roll into that the investment report as well. We continue to trade essentially favourably. This month, quite close to budget, a $2.3 million surplus. That may have been a little bit stronger. There are some costs in there that relate to some disaster recovery issues that may well improve our financial position when we get some of that money back. But ultimately, we're showing a $10.3 million year-to-date surplus, which is about $6 million better than budget for the year-to-date. So we continue, I guess, the trajectory that we've been showing for the last 18 months or so of an improved financial position. In terms of cash, we hold $676 million under investment, and all our major funds are in positive except for the water fund, which still has negative working capital of 3.4%, but that is shrinking on a monthly basis. I think it was 4.4% last month. So we anticipate by the end of the calendar year, or by January, we'll be back into positive funds for that level, for that fund as well. And I thought something that might be useful and interesting is that this month we're showing $307.9 million worth of borrowings, that is loans outstanding. And that amount, as you'd be aware, has been trending downwards again since December 2020. And what's particularly interesting in that is that's now $10 million less than the two combined councils had when they merged in May 2016. And that's even after counting the $150 million worth of emergency loans that we had to take. So now our total, gross debt that we owe is less than the amount that was outstanding at the date of amalgamation.
Thank you, Mr. Farmer. I think that's fantastic news, and to think that we've actually reached debt levels that were actually below, slightly below, when the two councils were merged, and we've had to obviously repay a whole bunch of stuff and recapitalise the organisation during that period. As I've said previously, from a financial crisis point of view, we are well and truly over that, and we really are now on the up and up, and particularly obviously focusing now on efficiency and productivity gains so that we can do more with the rather limited resource that we do have. So with that, I will move the resolutions that are shown on the screen for item 2.1, and we'll follow those with the resolutions shown for item 2.2, which is the investment report, because the information that's in 2.2, the investment report, as David Farmer has already covered off, which is particularly the cash flow issues of what the statuses of our restricted and unrestricted reserves are. So we'll move now to item 2.3, which is the Water and Sewer Delivery Plan. And I will ask Jamie Loader to talk about that. This is a requirement that has come out of the new agreement that we've got with IPART, as I think the community knows and understands only too well. We did go back to the community to restore the fees and charges that we did have prior to termination of IPART, where they removed $39 million of revenue from the council's revenue. And we were successful with IPART in getting that largely returned to the council, which has been operating from July 1 this year. But that did come with quite a lot of strings, and having a delivery program and so on is one of the new strings that IPART is putting on those water management authorities, which is what we are, along with Sydney Water and Hunter Water. So all of those three entities will have to do these delivery plans, but I'll let Mr. Loader take you through some of the key aspects of them.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. You've stolen, I guess, a little bit of my thunder, but that's okay.
A little knowledge is dangerous sometimes.
So, as you quite rightly point out, we received our current pricing determination from IPART in May this year, and there were a couple of key deliverables that we had to produce early on in this current financial year. The first of those was the performance report, which was due on the 30th of September, and the second of those is what we're calling the delivery plan. IPART referred to it as an implementation plan, but we've rebadged it as a delivery plan because we believe that I guess describes it a little bit better than an implementation plan. So the key aspect of the delivery plan has three focus areas, being accountability, community engagement, and asset management. Really, the delivery plan is the roadmap for us to deliver to the community on the promises we made in our submission to IPART. We went to IPART seeking to restore those the revenue levels that were in place prior to 2018 on the basis that we would improve our services, we would be more accountable to our community, we would put the customer at the centre of our business, and we would improve our asset management approach. Now, in terms of accountability, what that means is actually doing what we said we were going to do, and there are a number of step changes that we'll be delivering over the next 4 years as part of this pricing determination, which will improve our levels of service. From a community engagement point of view, it is really about understanding our customers' values, what their expectations are in terms of our levels of service. So there's a large component of actual community consultation which we will be undertaking as part of this delivery plan, and that consultation will lead through to the development of a customer charter, which will include all of those key metrics, which will then feed into our performance plan that will be published on an annual basis. In terms of asset management, we are the largest holder of assets in the council. We hold the majority of assets in the council in the Water and Sewer Department, and IPART have given us a number of improvements that we need to make to our asset management system, which we're currently working through. It's imperative that we do maintain our assets in a preventative way rather than reactive, which again was the basis of our pricing submission to IPART. So that means a significant investment in how we manage those assets and making sure they're fit for purpose, and that we're increasing the value that we get from those assets over the life of the asset. So really, three key areas that form the basis of our delivery plan. The delivery plan will be placed on the website and will be available for the public to view, and as I said, we'll be reporting against that through our performance report. Just next slide, please. So as I mentioned, the performance report, we published our performance report on the 30th September. The performance report is our last 5 years of performance data, which will, I guess, form the baseline for us as we move into this pricing determination. And it's a report against all of the key metrics that IPART set for us, as well as those that we've put in place for ourselves to measure our levels of performance. You'll be able to see when you look at that performance report, which is also available on the website, that our performance has decreased over time as our revenue decreased as well. It's obviously our intention as we move through this pricing determination with an increase in revenue and an increase in investment in our asset performance, that our overall performance will increase as well. So, as I said, that performance report is currently available, and we'll be publishing a new one every year, which will track back against our progress on the delivery plan and our customer charter. Thanks, Mr. Administrator.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Loader. I actually think it's a good initiative by IPART. I think getting those documents published, particularly the performance plan at an early stage, and bear in mind that the performance plan, of course, at this stage is covering off whilst we were struggling with under the loss of approximately $120 million of revenue over the previous 3 years. So, of course, the performance has not been up to probably the right standard. But now that we have got the revenue side fixed up, I'm pretty confident that the team will, in fact, get on with the delivery plan, which has now gone out for the community to be able to see. And it will hold the organisation accountable to the community for delivery. I guess I'll talk about it another time, but I have had the opportunity to be out with Mr. Loader today and with members of the ARIC committee, and we looked at a number of our water assets, and I think one of the members of the ARIC committee just said to me, just at the conclusion of that tour, words along the line of, I didn't realise how massive and big this whole water and sewer supply is for the Central Coast and what is delivered by the Central Coast. And that is, in fact, actually, we are the third largest entity operating for water and sewer in New South Wales. So we are very large. So it's a big task in hand, but it's looking great. And with that, so I will move those resolutions, which is to adopt the water and sewer delivery plan for 22 through to 26, and move that as a decision of council. And with that, it is the last item, so I will close the meeting now at 4:43 p.m. So thank you, and everybody have a good day.